This is my gluten-free almond slice. I love this recipe because it's super easy to put together, and I'm going to add some fruit to it. So figs are in season at the moment, so I'll be using them. But the best part of this is, depending on what season it is, you can change up the fruits. So to start with, I want to make homemade almond meal. There's nothing better than it. So I've got 300 grams of blanched almonds, and this can be changed up. This recipe is really flexible. You could also use walnuts, even hazelnuts work really well too. So I've got a blade in my processor and we'll add the almonds. So in they go. And we'll pop the lid on, and we just want to pulse this until we have a fine crumb. How good is that? Within a few moments, I've made beautiful almond meal. So I'm just going to remove it from the bowl here, and we'll just pop it back in. And I'll replace the blade with the double whisk, and I use the double whisk for this because it's going to ensure we have beautiful smooth ricotta. So you'll need 250 grams of ricotta. We'll add that in there. Some melted butter, and be sure when you melt your butter, don't add it when it's really hot, so just let it cool down to room temperature again. We'll pour that in. 2 eggs, and again with the eggs, whenever I'm baking, I like to bring them out of the fridge about 20 minutes if you can remember, because if everything is the same temperature, we'll ensure we have a nice smooth batter. And I like to add a pinch of salt too. And then we're just going to blend this until it's smooth. Oh, look at that. Beautiful and creamy. Now we can return our almond meal. So in it goes, along with some extra flavours. So with figs, I love the addition of some lemon zest. You need the zest of about half of this lemon. And you can use many different spices, some nutmeg, maybe some clove, but I'm going to keep it super traditional with a little pinch of cinnamon. And a little rising agent, some baking powder. Done. We'll just incorporate all of that together, and we'll just pop this on a lower speed and just bring it together. Done. Can't get any simpler than that, and it smells fantastic. So this can go into a slice tin. I always like to use baking paper just for that extra assurance that comes out of the tin. And I'm just going to use a little spatula here just to scrape off our cake batter from the whisk. Give it a bit of a tap. And in it goes. Scrape down the sides. You can see that there's a little bit of texture with the almond meal. And I think that's what I love most about milling your own nut flour. You can make it as chunky or as fine as possible. This is just right for me. And we just don't want to leave any of that batter in there. I want it all. Spread that out so it's nice and even. That is looking good. Now for the figs, I'm going to cut them in half. These are so fresh and gorgeous. If you wanted to use figs and they're not in season, this actually works really well with dried figs. You just need to rehydrate them slightly. But other fruit you could use, pears, fantastic. Apples work nicely, even bananas work a treat. So I'm just top and tailing these like so. So about 3 on each row. And then I'm going to sprinkle on some beautiful flaked almonds. That's it. It goes into the oven, 180 degrees for about 35 to 40 minutes, or until it's completely cooked through and the fruit has caramelised on the top too. The slices come out of the oven. Have a look at it. Isn't it gorgeous? Perfectly golden on the top, and you can see that those figs have caramelised and softened nicely. Now, just like any slice or cake, you do want to allow it to cool at least 15 to 20 minutes. You want it to be warm or room temperature when you serve it. So we'll just take it out of the tin very carefully. I'm going to place it on this plate. And I just want to keep it on that baking paper. I think it looks quite pretty. Dust it with a little icing sugar, not too much. And I want to slice into this to show you how moist it is. And this is why I love gluten-free cakes, because it stays nice and moist, and all of those natural oils in the almonds will really help that. Look at that, perfectly cooked. That with maybe an English breakfast tea, maybe a peppermint tea, even a short black would be absolutely perfect with this gluten-free fig slice.